You're now tuned into another edition of Premarket PulseScan with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave Price Trigger Reports. All right, so this is Election Day. That's right, November the 3rd, 2020, Election Day. And here's how things are shaping up. So the Dow was up 382 points at 27,178. The NASDAQ 100 is up 73 points at 11,136 and a quarter. E-mini S&P 500 up 37 and 3/4 points at 3338 and a quarter. The Russell My Hustle is up 28.5 points at 1593.3. The Bitcoin Futures Composite Index is up 35 at 13,825. Nat gas is off a whopping 12 cents right now, trading at $3.11. Crude oil futures are up a whopping $1.37 per barrel at $38.17 a barrel. The long bond is down 22.30 seconds at 172 and 2/30 seconds. Gold futures are up hard at $15.20 an ounce, trading at $1,907.70 an ounce. Silver right now is up 35 cents at $24.38 an ounce. And the euro dollar is up about 81 pips at 117.23. Pound sterling up a whopping 104 pips at 130.08. Aussie is up at 92 pips at 71.42. US dollar index down 60 at 93.52. Soybeans rallying this morning up 12 and a quarter points at 10.64 half. Corn is up 2 3/4 points at 400 and a quarter. And we got wheat up 5.5 at 6.13. So very interesting. Corn above $4. We got wheat above $6. Soybeans above $10. The markets are really enjoying themselves headed into this rally. But you need to think about a few things as you go into this election day. For those that haven't voted yet, be sure to cast your ballots with fear and trepidation, because this year matters more than 2016 did. All right? They're already repeating the sins of the past, claiming that this time it will be different. You got your spread bettors, you got your bookies all saying that it's pretty much a 90% or greater guarantee that Biden is going to win the election. They said and did the same thing in 2016. But this time they're claiming, well, we didn't know what we were doing back then, but now we do know what we're doing. But at that time in 2016, you guys were supposed to be the authorities and said you did know what you're doing. So if you lied in 2016 and claiming that you didn't know what you were doing and that you were unsophisticated, but now your so-called computer models are more sophisticated, how do we know to trust you? We don't. Therefore, we don't trust you, because you do not know what you're talking about. You do not have a crystal ball. You do not know the future. You're not omniscient. All right? You need to understand that. So what does this mean? Well, normally markets like to move in the direction of the positive. So markets are rallying right now. But I believe that we could be setting up for a drastic fall at some point. All right. And I think that we would do wise to remember that. Okay. We need to think about that. Buy the news, sell the fact. Okay. So just wanted to put that out there for you. This is a very key day. Very, very key day. Depending on what happens, I may or may not go live tonight. It just depends. Just depends on what's going down. if it's anything remotely like 2016, then I won't have a choice. But I'm going to be watching the price action very closely throughout the day. And if I get even the whiff that that's what's going to happen, I will be sure to be out by the close. I'll be looking to take some profit, take some money off the table, and you'll be wise to do the same. It just is what it is. You don't want to be caught out there holding the bag when everyone else is rushing toward the exit. So we do have a possibility of a redo of 2016, where the market rallies into the news until the nighttime, end of the day. Then it sells off hard as the pundits and talking heads on TV say, oh, it's looking like Biden got it. Biden got it. And then when it's apparent that no, he don't got it, no, he ain't got it, then the markets rally back up again. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And I just wanted to prepare you guys for that probability, because it is a probability that we're probably going to see a similar situation. You want to be prepared for just about anything, because nothing's guaranteed in this life, as you already know. There's the opening bell for those that need to handle some business, place some tickets, whatever. I think today is also very imperative to follow the reports, all right, and your favorite securities. Don't deviate, just follow the report. Let the report guide you, all right? I think that's going to be very important. Very, very important. All right. So where does that leave us? Well, I think that America does suffer from amnesia from time to time, and Alzheimer's most of the time. What do I mean by that? First of all, I do not believe that right now the market is truly pricing in anything. I think it's kind of like the guy that's on first trying to steal second. So the market is that guy on first base trying to steal second. He's moving midway towards second base. Not making a run for it, not making a break for it just yet, because it's uncertain if he'll be able to make it. All right. So, and he can't move backwards because first base is the first base. There's no zero base. So he is on first base and he's holding. He can't go backwards. He can only move forward. And he's wondering when that time will be. If he gets an opportunity, he will steal second. All right. He will steal second. But if he runs into trouble while he's on his way to second, he'll have to stop, pivot, and hurry up and get back to first base. So that's kind of where we are. The market is stuck right now in between first and second base. That's where we are. We will be on second base trying to steal third base once the NASDAQ pulse waves positive. As of right now, the NASDAQ 100 is not pulse waving positive like the other indices. It is not participating. All right. Look at your dashboard. Pull up my watch list in your dashboard this morning. Take a look at that NASDAQ. All right. The NAS E-mini, I think is how it's there. You can just type in NQ and it'll come up also. Take a look at that. What do you see when you take a look at that under the day column, you got a zero line. You have a zero line in your NASDAQ because the NASDAQ is nowhere near participating with the other indices. Okay. Now, let's break this part down. What do we mean we say the NASDAQ isn't playing ball? Do we have any historical precedents that we can lean on this morning to help us understand what may or may not be happening in these markets? Well, we do have historical precedents. Yes, we do, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been with me any length of time, you would realize that I do have a video somewhere here on YouTube where I explained the situation. The last time we had a situation like this was 2007, going into the financial crisis of 2008. You will recall that in 2007, the E-mini S&P 500 and the Dow were hitting new all-time highs, new all-time contract highs on the futures. The NASDAQ wasn't even anywhere close to that. The NASDAQ had still been in a deep, dark chasm from where it cratered just 7 years prior. The NASDAQ hadn't even begun to get back up from the hole that it fell into 7 years prior to 2007. You see, what happened was the NASDAQ bubble bursted in 2000, and it took practically a decade for the NASDAQ to regain that. Back in 07, the NASDAQ hadn't even done a 50% retracement. It was not even moving. All right. For the whole year, it was just struggling all of 07, while the Dow and S&P were hitting new highs. And then when 2008 rolled around, the Dow and S&P continued to outperform, showing their behinds, showing off, getting high up in the atmosphere, and your NASDAQ could barely even get off the ground. He was still stuck in traction. The NASDAQ couldn't do much, couldn't move. He was injured. He was hurt, still wounded, still in recovery. And then when the 2008 skirt got lifted up and you saw those weren't supermodel's legs, instead you saw the legs of the sea hag from Popeye. I love Popeye. I love Popeye. That's what you saw. And then you threw up your lunch. Well, that's kind of the complexion the market is taking right now. You got your indices up, but not really up. You see, the market is trying to recover from the sell-off last week, trying to give you that 50% retracement technical bounce, and it's really struggling to hold that, to maintain that. But nevertheless, that is what the market is trying to give you. Now, you know this market has really peaked in the level of volatility and uncertainty. The market hates uncertainty. What has the media been trying to condition you for? They've been conditioning you that you're not going to know who won the election for several days, probably not until next week. You got all these ballots that ain't come in yet. I'm expecting just about anything for them to say, no, we got all the ballots, we're good to go, you know? And then they'll say, no, we don't have all the ballots. So here's how it will go. If Biden is declared the winner tonight, right? And say he's declared a clear winner. You know for certain the Democrats are going to be trying to say, nope, we don't need no more mail-in ballots. No. Let's leave that alone. However, if Donald Trump is declared the clear winner tonight, you can bet the Democrats are going to come on air and they're going to say not so fast. Here's a list of states that have not received all their ballots. So we still don't know yet. You can't say that. You can't announce that. And then that's when the farce will begin. So there's your roadmap. If Biden is declared the clear winner tonight, you're going to hear nothing except for he won and how he won and how they're going to try to get out in front of it and say the Trump camp is going to claim this and that and try to do this and that, but it's not going to work because we got this and this and this and that, and they're going to drown out him. You won't really be able to hear too much from him. You'll be hearing the machine go full throttle in Biden's favor. But if Biden loses, be sure tonight that they're going to come on, and for the next several hours, they're going to talk about how you can't call the election yet because the mail-in ballots, all the states haven't done, they're not done yet. And they're not going to be done for a while. That buys them time to put into place the second leg of their fraudulent hijacking of the election. So there's roadmaps here. There's and if or scenarios already prepped and ready to roll based on the general election outcome tonight. So the general election is what they're going to go by. If it looks like it's clear, we got a clear winner, and it's Biden, you better believe the machine is going to be turned on full throttle to drown out any dissension in the Trump camp or any other camp. Do not be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, that if the general election shows Biden is the clear winner tonight, prepare for shock and awe. Prepare for the President Trump to bow out gracefully and shock the world by not holding this up. Just prepare for that. Prepare for him to take the high road, because that's not something that the markets or anyone else is preparing for. They're preparing for a long, drag down, bare knuckle fight. And you may be caught blindsided if you expect that. The only way you will see that is if Biden, it's clear that he lost the general election tonight. Then that's when all the things they've been prepping you for, that's when you're going to see that happen. That's when you'll see the machine really go after Donald Trump and go after everyone else. That's where you'll see the Black Lives Matter brigade unleashed again on the American citizens. They'll be looting and rioting and doing all types of crazy stuff. So just prepare for that. Prepare for that tonight. Yeah, Google is guilty of election meddling. Of course, all of the big tech companies are. That's why they had to get grilled in front of the government a few days ago to give an accounting. And that's just the government putting them on notice, saying, we know what you've been doing. We know what you've done. We know what you did last summer. That's basically what the government was doing. So, hey, just so you know that we know what you did last summer. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. All right. So from where I'm sitting, it is looking like the market will rally into the close today. But you just be ready for fireworks tonight, because you have to factor in the unknowns. There are unknowns that we don't know and can't know. Even if, and I always say this, even if you knew the results of any government report, even if you had a crystal ball and you could look into the future and you knew who was going to win the general election tonight and you knew what was going to happen after tonight and all this other stuff, what you don't know and what you cannot possibly account for is how the markets will respond. The markets don't always respond the way that we think it will respond. Case in point, markets rally on good news and markets can rally on bad news. Markets can utterly collapse on bad news. Markets can utterly collapse on great news. We've seen all of the above happen numerous times. where people are left scratching their head like, I don't understand. That government number was a blowout. That was incredible. Why is the Dow down 1,000 points? I don't understand. Yeah. The market is rallying today. I don't understand. This news was terrible. This is awful. We're all in trouble. Why is the Dow up 1,000 points? Why is the NASDAQ up 3,000 points? This is crazy. Why is Facebook now a $20,000 stock? I don't understand. We live in perilous times, ladies and gentlemen. So just prepare yourself and your finances to track with these markets today, because you're not going to want to go too far away from your computer. I can tell you that. But the reality is that much of the world is holding its breath, waiting for the outcome of tomorrow's U.S. election result. We're going to hear some stuff tonight, but the following morning is when the media is talking and rolling. A lot of them been up all night long, never went to bed, never went off the air. So prepare to hear a lot of stuff tonight, but more stuff the following morning. Tomorrow morning, it'll be a new day. And even though I have to say this election may have some serious consequences, all right? One concern is that in all likelihood, there will be violence following this one if Biden loses the election. All right? You need to prepare yourself for that, ladies and gentlemen. However, if Trump wins, the street troops to the left will do what they've been doing this year, and perhaps more so. They are, after all, facing a dead end. All right? If their perennial strongholds, such as New York, New Jersey, Illinois, and California, and others, aren't massively bailed out and fast, their political machines will collapse. Always follow the money, people. Follow the money. Follow the money. I don't expect very much violence immediately following a Biden win. Granted, there could be some. There are always a few actual crazies around, and I do tend to be optimistic in that regard. But I've never known disappointed conservatives to riot. And the militia guys tend to head to a sheriff's department seeking to be deputized. The threat of violence from the right would be if the blues are seen to steal the election. All right, if that comes out. If that happens clearly enough, all bets are off. All right. All that said, you need to be ready and you need to be cautious, ladies and gentlemen, because we are in some very murky waters, okay? Now, with that being said, think about the people who have the ultimate say in what happens in the world. The people who build, the people who grow things, repair things, and invent everything. The political class merely takes what they produce. They live high off of it. All right? That's your sweat, my sweat. They live off the sweat, off the backs of the citizenry. The producers of the world have been frightened, seduced, deceived, and bullied into compliance with the political class. But it needn't be that way. And in fact, will not always be that. Furthermore, these organizations aren't nearly as omnipotent as they would like people to believe. The current propaganda machine, i.e. the mainstream media, interestingly enough, features the elites of the European Union and plans for a great reset and a fourth industrial revolution. That's what they're preparing you for. Remember when I told you this is the rise of the European Union. This is the second rise of Rome and the demise of the U.S. So by doing this, they're admitting that their existing system will not last. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to sell people on something new. They wouldn't need to be trying to propagandize you to death about the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Why are they even speaking in those terms? It's because they're admitting that the existing system will not last much longer. It can't. Otherwise, why do they need to put you on a 24-hour news cycle of propaganda? Whatever comes out of this election, our goal is to make the producers of the world understand that they don't need the political class. We can arrange our own affairs just fine without their glorious wisdom. We can also toughen up emotionally and cease being terrified by every imaginary fear that comes down the road, because that's one of the chief mechanisms of control is fear. They control through fear. They get you to be afraid of everything. You're afraid of your shadow. You're afraid of molecules. You're afraid of viruses. You're afraid of funguses. You're afraid of your own shadow. You're afraid to go outside. You're afraid of people with guns. You're afraid of someone breathing on you. You're afraid of someone touching you and shaking your hand. You're afraid of relationships. Is that how you really want to live? Really? Whatever. So think about something like this. And this is a quote from Buckminster Fuller. Quote, "If you take all the machinery in the world and dump it in the ocean, within months, more than half of all humanity will die. And within another 6 months, they'd almost all be gone. If you took all the politicians in the world, put them in a rocket and sent them to the moon, everyone would get along fine." End quote. Something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Something to think about as we move forward. And you need to understand what it is they're trying to do. I did cover this a few days ago. If you go back on the channel, you'll see it, talking about this this whole Great Reset, this whole cultural Marxism, and what that is about. And already you see the machine turned on for Biden. They're already talking about, yeah, Biden this, Biden that. Biden got it. He got it. He got it. He got it. He got it. That's all you're hearing right now. He got it. So with that being said, that leads us to this whole Great Reset stuff. Now, we talked about the umbrella that it comes from yesterday, but let's go a little bit deeper. What is this Great Reset? Well, the Great Reset is a massively funded, desperately ambitious, internationally coordinated project led by some of the biggest multinational corporations and financial players on the planet, and carried out by cooperating state bodies and NGOs. Its soul is a combination of early 20th century science fiction and idyllic Soviet posters and obsessiveness of a deranged accountant with a gambling addiction and an upgraded digital version of Manifest Destiny. All right. According to them, the peasants are getting fat and they are breeding. Oh no, we must do something about it. The mathematical reason for the Great Reset is that thanks to technology, the planet has gotten small. And the infinite expansion economic model is bust. But obviously, the super wealthy want to continue staying super wealthy. And so they need a miracle. They need another bubble. Plus, a surgically precise system for managing what they perceive as their limited resources. Thus, they desperately want a bubble providing new growth out of thin air, literally, while simultaneously they seek to tighten the peasants' belts with austerity measures for the peasants, but not for them, of course. And this is done in an effort that starts with behavior modification, known as resetting the Western peasant's sense of entitlement to high life standards and liberties. Now, the psychological reason for the Great Reset is the fear of losing control of property, i.e., the planet. Now, I suppose if you own billions and move trillions, your perception of reality gets a little questionable. And everything down below looks like an anthill that exists just for your own musing. Just ants and numbers, and of course, your assets. All right? This is a God complex, ladies and gentlemen. The practical aim of the Great Reset is to fundamentally restructure the world's economy and geopolitical relations based on two assumptions. The first assumption is that every element of nature and every life form is a part of the global inventory managed by the allegedly benevolent state, which in turn is owned by several suddenly benevolent wealthy people via technology. And two, that all inventory needs to be strictly accounted for, be registered in a central database, be readable by a scanner, and easily ID'd, and be managed by AI using the latest scientific breakthroughs. Now, the goal is to count and then efficiently manage and control all resources, including people, on an unprecedented scale, with unprecedented digital anxiety and precision, all while the masters keep indulging, enjoying vast patches of conserved nature, free of unnecessary sovereign peasants and their unpredictability. The king's world feels far more predictable and relaxed when the chaos of human subjectivity is contained for good. Plus, as a potential lucrative aside, a bunch of these highly managed assets can be also turned into new financial instruments and traded. That's right. In other words, it's an efficient global feudalism that goes much farther than its medieval brother, since the scanner is all seeing. Every person, every mineral, and every berry is digitally tagged and tracked. Under that framework, every peasant has a function that is derived not from the mystery of life and not from their inner calling, but from AI, the master of efficiency and the servant of the king. Ideally, the peasants can be convinced that it's good for them or necessary to be safe, and that this is what progress and happiness looks like. But if not, there are other ways, from classic violence to virtual prisons and morality pills. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is what is coming. This is what they mean when they say the Great Reset. I'm trying to put you up on game. I'm trying to give you the science. All right. I'm trying to give you the science. Now, the reform in question is meant to disrupt all areas of life on a planetary scale: government, international relations, finance, energy, food, medicine, jobs, urban planning, real estate, law enforcement, human interactions. And it starts with changing the way we think of ourselves and our relationship with the world. Notably, privacy is a huge thorn in the collective eye of our great resetters. All right. They are pushing their sweet talking points about how privacy is really an outdated concept, especially when it comes to people's medical data, and that we simply cannot move forward with the bright future if silly people keep clinging to their privacy. Yeah, a lot of TED Talks going on right now, folks. A lot of TED Talks. And of course, yes, I always come back to this one. There was recently a TED Talk trying to big up pedophilia and how to normalize it, and that these people can't help themselves. Don't be mad at them. Don't punish them. They were born this way. Next, you'll say the murderer was born this way. He can't help but to murder. The rapist was born this way. Don't penalize him for rape. This is just the way he's wired and how he was born. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. So to sum it up, the desired end result is a giant, joyless, highly controlled global conveyor of everything and everybody where privacy is tremendously expensive, dissent is unthinkable, and spiritual submission is mandatory. It's like a 24/7 medicated reality, except the medications are both chemical and digital, and they're reporting you back to the mothership, which can then punish you for bad behavior by, say, blocking your access to certain places or by putting a hold on your digital bank account, perhaps without any human intervention at all. And this is the world y'all want to live under, where everything about you is being recorded in real time audio, real time visual. This is the world y'all want to live under? Really? Wish for. Because you'll get it. You will get it. Just something to think about for right now. We're going to leave it here. I ain't going to keep y'all too late today. I just want to put you up on some game and let you know where we may possibly be headed right now, even as we speak. This is what the election is about. All right. Biden's camp. All right. His camp. This is what they want. This is what they want for you. All right. That is why today's election is so important. The people that support Biden, this is their dream. The people that support Trump are against this. We don't want this. So now you know what you're voting for. You don't have to like it, but you do have to adjust. You do have to deal with it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to deal with it. You don't have a choice. You do not have a choice. Okay? So I had to put y'all up on game, man. I had to. I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. You guys need to know what's really happening out here and what's really at stake. You got to know. This is not a game. This is real. This is real life. All right. This ain't make believe. Okay. This ain't romper room. This is real life. All right. They're coming for you. All right. Make no mistake about it. They are coming for you. And this is what it's about. This is why they're doing it. This is what they hope to accomplish. This is what they are going to accomplish if Biden wins the election tonight. Oh, you're just trying to scare us. Yeah, I am. I'm trying to scare you with the truth. I'm trying to scare you with facts so that you will wake up and realize what is at stake. All right. Human ingenuity, human freedom and thought and expression is going out the window. They want to replace human beings with AI, with machines. They want to control you. Every aspect of your life, they want to control. No freedom of movement or freedom of thought or freedom of speech, none of that. All right, so now you know what time it is. You can't say, I wish I would have known. I wish someone would have just told us, yeah, I'm trying to. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to put you up on game, man. Have you peeped the science behind all this? That's what it's about at the end of the day. Okay? So think about it. Just think about it. Just do that much for me. Just think about it. Think about this whole year, all the different things that have transpired this year, and then how I told you that I caught them planning for this at least a year in advance. Remember, I explained that to you. All right, so get out there and vote, do your thing, and remember, PulseWaveTrading.com. Remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.